Hello everyone, welcome to Cozy Noah Vibes, where we listen, relax, and gradually fall asleep together. I'm your host, Noah, and thank you for tuning in tonight. Today, Heather will be reading us a special Thanksgiving story. This unique American holiday is usually a reason for family gatherings, but it's also a time to celebrate with friends. Tonight, we join for neighbors living in an apartment building as they create their unique celebration. Despite the small space and compact kitchen, delicious food and friendship prevail, as each friend contributes a special dish from their own family's Thanksgiving tradition. Now, let's take some time to settle in and relax, as we always do here at Cozy Noah Vibes. If you need to adjust your position to get more comfortable, please do so. Let your body sink into your bed and slowly start to slow down your breathing. Even just a little slower can help you release any tension. With each exhale, feel yourself drifting deeper into relaxation and rest. If you notice any distractions, don't be too hard on yourself, it's natural. When we lie down at night without the data and distractions, it's normal to become aware of these. But again, with each exhale, allow those distractions to fade away. You are now in a safe, comfortable, and peaceful place. So slowly let your body and mind embrace this atmosphere. You too can feel safe, comfortable, and peaceful, and be grateful for the chance to rest. On a cool and sunny November morning, we arrive at an apartment building in the city where a wonderful feast is about to begin. This is where our story starts. Melissa woke up mid-morning to the inviting smell of coffee from the kitchen. She turned over in bed, stretched, and walked over to the window. The old maple tree outside had lost most of its leaves, and without looking, she knew there would be piles of leaves on the ground. She always loved to walk through them when she went outside. Sunlight streamed through the branches and glass, creating small squares of light on her wooden floor, mimicking the window panes. She touched the glass lightly, feeling its coldness, and thought that this sunny and chilly weather was perfect for Thanksgiving. Melissa threw off her soft blankets, got out of bed, and slipped her feet into her slippers before standing up and taking her cozy teak cardigan from the armchair in the corner. After putting it on, she walked out of her bedroom into her main living area. Her faithful coffee pot was waiting for her in the small kitchen. She chose her favorite mug from her collection and poured herself a cup of hot coffee. She needed to get the pumpkin pie crust into the oven with happy anticipation. She preheated the oven and took out a sealed metal container from the cupboard, then sprinkled some flour on one of her two small countertops. From beneath the counter, she pulled out a large rolling pin, also sprinkling it with flour. Then, she opened the fridge to take out a chilled dough she had made the day before. She unwrapped it, placed it on the surface, and carefully rolled it out, trying to make it an even thickness and circular shape. When the crust was large enough, she gently placed it into a glass pie dish, pressing it firmly into the bottom and carefully crimping the edges. Once the entire dish was lined with the dough, she cut off the excess edges with a knife, placed parchment paper in the center, and weighed it down with dried beans. Then put it into the preheated oven for a brief bake. The beans would hold down the center of the crust, preventing it from puffing up in the oven. Soon, the apartment was filled with the warm aroma of baking crust. Breathing in the bread-like scent deeply, she looked around the room with satisfaction. Today, she would host a real gathering, and she and her 3 neighbors would come together in her apartment to share their Thanksgiving dinner. Since they each lived in studio apartments in Melissa's building, they needed to get creative to fit everyone in. But no one minded, they were just happy to share a meal together. Melissa looked at her rock-leaf wooden table next to the kitchen. Usually, she kept the sides folded down to save space. But today, she would pull it out into the center of the room and extend the leaves, ensuring there would be seating for 4. Counter space in the kitchen was also limited, so they would have to figure out how to set out all the food. But most importantly, they would have a joyful afternoon together. Since she was the host, Melissa volunteered to make the turkey and gravy in addition to the pumpkin pie. She couldn't imagine Thanksgiving without fresh cranberry sauce, so she also prepared some in advance. It was an easy condiment to make ahead and kept well until dinner time. Her neighbor Nikki, who lived next door, contributed some essential side dishes. As someone from the Midwest, she insisted that Thanksgiving wouldn't be complete without a green bean casserole. Additionally, she promised to bring buttery mashed potatoes and an apple pie. Dan, who lived downstairs, was excited to make stuffing, though he didn't reveal which recipe he would use. Since he was a vegetarian, everyone knew it would be delicious and meat-free. He also made a corn casserole, which seemed to be a common dish in his family, and finally promised to bring a salad. Others were surprised to see a salad on the Thanksgiving menu, but Dan insisted it was very common, or he grew up on the West Coast. The 4th person was Leela, who lived downstairs next to Dan. Coming from South Carolina, she insisted that Thanksgiving wouldn't be complete without homemade macaroni and cheese. She also eagerly offered to make a pecan pie, a staple dessert for her family's Thanksgiving. With 3 pies planned, Melissa joked that they might want to start with dessert. The timer went off, drawing Melissa's attention back to her pie. She carefully removed the crust from the oven. Halfway baked, from the silverware drawer, she took a fork and gently removed the parchment paper and dried beans, setting them aside. After removing them, she lightly pricked the unbaked center of the crust with a fork, knowing this would prevent it from puffing up once the weights were removed. Then she put the crust back in the oven to finish baking. It would soon be done. Pleased with her progress, Melissa chose some music to listen to and refilled her coffee cup. She walked into the living room and looked around, placing her coffee down gently before moving the drop-leaf table from the wall to the center of the room. The table was on wheels, so it rolled quietly across the floor until she placed it in the center of an open area. She unfolded the leaves, thinking it was just the right size. Opening the storage chest she used as a coffee table, she carefully moved items until she found a stack of beautiful linen napkins. She saved these napkins for special occasions. Closing the chest lid, she brought the napkins to the table and laid them flat. Taking the first one from the stack, she unfolded it and folded it again into a series of clever triangles, forming a small tent that could stand upright on a plate. Folding napkins was a skill she learned while working in a restaurant, always impressing her friends. After folding all of her napkins into neat little decorations, she retrieved some plates and silverware from the kitchen cupboards. The dishware didn't match, as she had several sets of odds and ends given to her by friends and family. Nevertheless, this made the table setting look very festive, especially when she placed a few small candles in the center from her bookshelf. Melissa took a notebook and pen from the kitchen drawer, making a simple to-do list while sipping her coffee. Next, she would make the filling for the pumpkin pie and put it back in the oven. Once baked, she would let it cool. She needed to remove any excess innards from the turkey, stuff it with some spices, and rub butter over its surface before putting it in the oven. The turkey would take several hours to roast, during which she planned to finish as many other preparations as possible. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. Melissa quickly got up from the couch, crossed the apartment, and opened the door. She smiled as she saw Kiki standing there, holding some decorations. Nikki walked in, and they hugged each other. Then together they placed some pine cones and mini pumpkin decorations on the table, making it even more festive. I hope you enjoyed tonight's story and that it brought warmth and tranquility to you, helping you to fall asleep easily. Thank you for listening to Cozy Noah Vibes. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share our channel so that more people can enjoy these relaxing moments. Have a wonderful night's sleep. Goodbye.